Welcome to the Jurassic Park 3 podcast, the only source for the best movie in the franchise. My name's Jack, and I'm joined with Assis, the myth and the legend.
When you say best movie in the franchise, you mean JP3, baby, right?
That's what I said. And I'm also joined with Jaden. How you doing, man?
I'm alright, vibing. 9:30 in the morning on a Wednesday. Turn up.
It's an early one for you, but this is a bit of an emergency pod because there's been some breaking news. Jurassic Park 3 is the best Jurassic movie. So, I mean, what do you think about that?
So when I first joined this organization, this collective, I was alone. I was literally the only one who was like, Jurassic Park 3 is great. Literally everyone else was like, oh yeah, it's just Jurassic Park and the Lost Road that we like. Jurassic Park 3 is garbage.
You were the crazy, we always use the crazy JP3 one.
Slowly though, over the years, I slowly whittled away their defenses. And I've annoyed them enough to where they're finally saying it. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm not stopping here. The next step, JP3 is better than The Lost World. You'll be hearing this from these boys very soon, I promise you.
There's been some serious love for it coming out of my brain in the past few months. I'm not sure why. I've always liked the movie. It has flaws, obviously. But I think after... I don't know. I think just enough time has passed and there's been enough other movies that I just have this new, I don't know, feeling for Jurassic Park 3.
This is beautiful.
I want to go back to that time and I want to go back to that era. And I hope Gareth is looking at it in the same vein, You know
what? I think you're right. Because whenever I think about Jurassic Park 3, I always think about the good memories growing up. That movie like my childhood. Yeah, we all like Jurassic Park 3, but we all have like a specific movie that when we think about, like, oh, that's my childhood. And you know what? JP3 is mine. So Jaden, I have a question for you because you're substantially younger than myself, right? So how does JP3 feel for you? Because you got it a lot later in life.
Yeah, how old were you when JP3 came out? 2001?
I was born in 1999, so I would have been like 2 or 3, I think. Yeah, right.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But I remember watching it, like that was like a rotation for me when I was, how like when you're little and like you weren't in school yet, and you have that rotation of movies that every kid would have. Yeah, mine was Lake Placid and Jurassic Park 3.
Lake Placid, there we go.
And I don't know why my mom let me, but it probably answers for a few questions about myself now, being able to watch that at 4 years old. But
Lake
I think
Placid, I love it.
So I guess with Jurassic Park 3, everyone's done. I think it's the trend of social media. You don't know what you had until it's gone. And when Dominion came out, everyone was like, oh, no, JP3 wasn't that bad. And I was like, that's what we've been saying since day one.
It's preaching. We've been preaching this from the rooftops.
Yeah,
finally.
How much hate I get. I've been on the national TVs preaching JP3. And now everyone's starting to say, you know what? It ain't that bad. It's not that bad.
That was the tipping point. It was the official moment on television that made people go, you know what? I need to revisit that movie.
That was the first time anyone's mentioned Jurassic Park 3 on live television since the year 2001. That's wild.
Yeah.
Got it back into the zeitgeist.
I'll take it.
It's funny. No, I definitely look back on that movie fondly. Like you said, Assis. So I grew up, my rotation movies were the first 2 Jurassics on VHS. That's what I used to just back in. But I was, conscious. I was a conscious human being when Jurassic Park 3 came out. I remember going to the cinema. I think we worked this out on another part. I think it was 8 or 9 or something.
Yeah.
So it was like dragged the whole family. I think I went like 10 times, brought different family members. I'd grown up since before I can remember just like loving Jurassic Park and The Lost World. So when the third came out, having that experience and being able to be the guy who's like, oh my God, surrounded by it. Those are memories I won't forget. I'm sure it's the same for a lot of people that are listening. As much as we can all acknowledge Jurassic Park 3 has flaws, especially when you consider it to the first movie. But there's something about it.
What was the article, Aziz, that you sent about the running time and how like it's the perfect movie running time and it's JP3
right.
Is that?
So some literal, like legitimate, I guess, organization did a study on the perfect runtime, and I guess they polled audiences and moviegoers. And I shit you not, the ideal runtime for a movie is 92 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go to YouTube right or Google right now and Google runtime JP3, you get 92 minutes.
Wow.
So I think Joe Johnson was onto something. It's a quick dose of Jurassic Park. You're in and out. You're not overstaying your welcome. You can watch the football game. You can catch the playoffs after. You know what I mean? Like you can go out after. It's just a quick dose for us fanboys who miss our childhood because life is too hard now.
So it was The Guardian that reported it. I have the article
Wow.
here. And
There
they
you
said
go.
that the ideal movie running time is 92 minutes, according to a poll conducted by the Talker Research, formerly known as One Poll US.
There you go.
So,
There you go.
case closed. End the podcast.
You know what, Jaden? It's not surprising to us because we've been saying this from the start. It's just like a beautiful thing to see other people like Jack finally embrace it. You know what? Not bad. Not
Yeah.
bad. I'm like, thank you. It feels like I made the movie almost.
There was a huge period of time where you could look at it like this. JP3 was the worst of the bunch, right? And
Yep.
not that it was a net like I still loved it. I always put it on and watched it. It was one of the three. I always watched them, loved them. But it was the one that had issues compared to the other two, which are perfect movies. So then there was this period of time after Jurassic Park 3 where we were promised for 14 years, don't worry, we're going to give you a fourth. It's going to be so much better. And it's going to be a thriller again. And it's going to be techno. And we're going to balance the sci-fi. And it's going to be more like the first. And we kept hearing that for 14 years. And then we never got it. And then we got Jurassic World. And I think there was so much hope leading up to that, especially in 2013, when Colin first got announced and they said, like, it's called Jurassic Park 4 and it's coming soon. I think there was so much hope on sort of my own fault as well, because of 14 years of me just like wanting this movie, built up loads of ideas about what it had been. Again, same for everybody, I assume. And then so you have all this hope leading into these new movies and Jurassic World and then Fallen Kingdom and then and I think by the end I got really deflated to the point where I was like, that we're never going to get better.
I think you're forgetting one of the best things about Jurassic Park 3, and that is Paul Kirby.
William H. Macy, for as much crap as he talked about the production of the movie and how much he had like a hard time and stuff, dude is like, he's like the heart and beat. He's the heartbeat of the movie, frankly. Is he not?
I would
I
say
think
It
so.
really is their story, isn't it? It's the Kirby's.
It's the Kirbys. And when Amanda is all sad, yelling at Paul after he quote unquote died, I'm like, this is the movie. I loved it. And they're talking about fishing. I'm like, yeah, man. They're gonna get back together when they get back. They're gonna live in Enid,
perfect
Oklahoma.
family movie.
It's great. Even Billy survives. That's great. It's just a good time. So you know what? I will say, it's interesting, Jack. The Jurassic World trilogy definitely feels, in hindsight now, as like a standalone thing almost. Because I'm getting the same vibes as I got for Jurassic Park 4 originally for this next sequel. It feels like they're hitting a lot of the right elements for me to be like, okay, maybe this can match the expectations of what I envisioned a Jurassic Park 4 being. And while it might not be what I want, it might still be a Jurassic World movie, but the elements of what I always felt a Jurassic Park 4 to be, I feel like they're cooking right now with Cap, Edwards, and the cast. Like, I don't know, they have a lot of good ingredients here.
But it does sound like Cap. Part of the reason for Cap's return is exploring old ideas. So I have a feeling there is a chance that while Cap was writing this screenplay, while he was developing the idea with Spielberg and maybe Frank, I don't know, that they went over some old JP3, JP4 ideas to see what they were thinking about, where the franchise, because they were always thinking about what's the next step. And in Jurassic World, they took us in one direction, which was basically just to like redo it, but in the modern world, a new park, what would happen? But the franchise wasn't always going to do that. You know, they were going to play into the X virus. They were going to do things like that. So disease, not virus. Maybe they've gone back over some of those old things. I have similar feelings as these. I think since Gareth's announcement, I felt this weird energy where I'm just feel pumped and I'm not like worried. And
Here's the thing.
When I think about it, of course I'm worried. I just have this excitement in me again. I think that's just the true Jurassic fan coming out. I'm thinking like they're making another Jurassic Park movie.
The only thing, and tell me how you guys feel about this, especially like Jade and because I know how Jack feels about David Leitch already, but don't forget, we were literally a week before Edwards, we had David Leitch. Like he was on the movie working on it. So and like I see, sorry, excuse me. I've seen a bit of the Fall Guys illegally or legally. I won't say. Um,
Don't say that now. It's not making any money.
hey, listen, Universal hasn't been in my pocket in a while, so I'm not
Hey.
cashing any Universal checks.
You know, I'll be honest. I'll say this right now. If Universal are listening, when me and Ryan were in LA, we were assaulted by the marketing for the Fall Guy. You couldn't literally everywhere you turn, there's a Fall Guy poster somewhere. We were sat having a really romantic Italian meal.
We need to talk about this after.
Me and Ryan sitting opposite each other in the Grove. It was sunset, beautiful thing. And then I turn around, it's the Fall Guy above me. And then I look over there, it's the Fall Guy. And then I turn that way, and there's a giant billboard of the Fall Guy up on the wall. I'm not kidding. It was everywhere. Every street light had a Fall Guy banner on it. And I was like, it's enough to make me say, fuck you, I'm not going to see your movie. And I think that's, I think that's what's gonna happen. It's like, I don't know, it's like propaganda, at that point. You just stop. I get it. The Fall Guy, a movie, it's coming out. I see it. God damn. Is the marketing like that everywhere else, or is it just because I was in LA?
I think that's an LA thing because I have not.
Yeah, definitely an LA thing. Ryan Gosling is big, despite being Canadian, not that big in Canada. Not that big.
I figured it was because we were right close to it, but at the end of
We
the
will
day,
talk about your guys' LA trip. We will talk about that before the end of the pod. But the David Leitch thing, like the only thing I'm giving me pause is like, why was Universal being like, yeah, this guy is like, after seeing Fall Guys, oh yeah, this is Jurassic World 4. I'm like, if that's what they thought Jurassic World 4 is gonna be, I think Edwards is just like a lucky thing to be like, it's just gonna look nicer, but it gives me a lot of concern.
The whole like director for hire thing starting to with the way Leitch was, it's starting to seem like that really was the case. But the whole Gareth thing, even if he is a director for hire, Gareth is still he's not a director for hire.
It's
That's
not
like
a director
some
for hire.
rando director.
Passion.
He is he's an auteur at this point, or at least he's an up and coming auteur. So there's enough reason to be like, regardless of if they're thinking like, well, Gareth will just shoot what we want, Gareth's still going to deliver a good movie because he's not going to lack on his own principles there. Like, I just don't. He's a solid enough person that's not going to be like, okay, yeah, I'll shoot it this way. Like he's going to shoot it the way he fucking wants. And I think that's also a bit of a testament to like, we are going to get something different this time around. It is going to feel like a reboot again. It's being described as a reboot internally. So I think that says a lot as well. Jurassic World was a reboot. And I think this isn't. I think if it was a sequel, they would just be saying the next sequel. They are saying reboot.
But why don't they just remove the name then? Because they can easily hop back and forth between Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. People will know the difference. If there's like a taint almost to the Jurassic World, like if that's how Universal sees it, why not just go back to Jurassic Park?
I think it's what you said though in one of the earlier podcasts this year, Zeus, where I feel like they're keeping the Jurassic Park title for other projects such as Survival and stuff like that, and the world they're just going to keep that for like the media, like movies and series and stuff like that.
Oh,
Whereas Jurassic Park, you said this by the way, this is your
I know, I'm blowing my own mind right
now. But yeah, Jurassic Park, like they're gonna keep that for other titles such as like the games, more serious tone of things. Because even like a month or two ago, there was rumors going around that if Jurassic Park were looking to like do animated comics and stuff, especially of like Nedry's death and stuff like that, do like little animated things where it's like a lot more novel-esque.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I don't know how far that's going. I know there's a fan made one, and then there was this rumors earlier that they were looking at doing something like that for the Jurassic Park titles and stuff like that. But I don't know if that's still happening. But I think it's
cool. I mean, I know that Amblin aren't the fondest of horror being associated with Jurassic Park, which is where as far as I'm aware, that's where some of the issues have come from in terms of like, oh, we want Jurassic to go a little darker, and it's like, it can't. And I think it's not necessarily universal there, which is interesting. But I have one more point. Before we do talk about Jurassic World 4, we are going to talk about Chaos Theory very briefly and Survival. But just something you said before, you said about the man, the myth, the legend, Paul Kirby. You said William H. Macy. We all remember those interviews where like they hated it and they were very negative about Jurassic Park 3. And it's understandable when you consider how the production, what happened to that production, right? So think of where we were. The Lost World had just come out a few years on, about to make the next Jurassic, about to make the next Spielberg movie, right? So everyone wants to be in it. This is a big movie. It's a big deal, and it's gonna be a good film. The first two were great movies, and if it's gonna be the same, it's gonna feel that a movie that you want to be a part of. Julianne Moore was in The Lost World, right?
Yeah.
Right. What a fucking role, right? People want. Anyway, whatever. So Jurassic Park 3 is a big one. So they cast William H. Macy, who's huge at the time, huge now, but he huge actor. Taya Leone, like people, like legit actors, right? Land them in these roles, and then the script that they were going to do, which was this 2.5 hour, 2 hour, big movie that felt like The Lost World, probably felt like the first two, gets chucked 5 weeks before filming, and then you go through filming without knowing what you're going to be doing every single day. And you're not just like acting, you're diving in cold water, you're getting thrown down by an animatronic giant thing that no one's ever worked with before, and you're the first one. You're getting drowned a little bit, you're running through the jungles of Hawaii, you're humid for 5 weeks straight, and then you got to come do it all again in the studio. You can kind of understand. Yeah. And then the end result of the movie is like not what you were supposed to be making in the first place. It's still got some of the elements, but really it isn't this longer narrative that the second movie was, that was gonna come into it. You can kind of see where they would be pissed. Like William H. Macy's like, great, well, I just made a B movie, like I can understand that now, and it's frustrating because I bet you they were into that because of the script. I bet you they read the script and were like, wow, this is something, this isn't just a running from dinosaurs movie. And it's a little. I think that's just why I want to read that script. I just really want to get hold of that original script. I just want to know.
Is this I'm so foggy with my JP3 memory at this point because it's all just conglomerating into one sort of thing at this point. Is this the original script where the kids are stranded, or is this before that?
Well, it does get muddy, and actually the information got more confusing in a sense with the James Mottram book.
Oh, I have it right in front of me, actually.
Yeah, because he was able to read some of those drafts of those screenplays from Universal. So he unveiled some new information about them, which is great. But it sort of contradicted what had been written on the Wikipedia page before, which isn't a surprise, it's Wikipedia. But, for years we'd been like, well, it was this draft, then it was this draft, and then it was the final draft. And it's like, that's not really how it happened. There were many drafts, and there was a draft. The Kids on the Island was, I think, long before. I think that was like the first thing Joe Johnston threw out, and that was like long before production properly began. That was in development.
So I'm showing the boys literally from the book. This is the art from the kids, I think, in that script, because there's looks like two kids and an older guy and a younger kid running from the raptors.
Is it Craig Rosengrant script or something? I'm foggy on that book's telling. I've only read it a couple times, but like from my memory, there was a handful of scripts and ideas like, Alan he's studying on the island in a tree, that kind of thing. That Joe Johnston was like, nah, I'm not directing that. That sounds ridiculous. Like, it's just not a good idea. In the development phase, same thing happened with. I remember Joe Johnston read the kids script where the kids are on the island and said, it reads like an episode of Friends, and then he ditched that script. But that wasn't the script that wasn't like the famous one, the one they ditched 5 weeks before filming. It wasn't that one.
So what the book says is Spielberg originally came up with the idea after Michael Crichton was too busy to work on the movie. So Spielberg came up with the idea of Sam Neill's character being discovered living on the island. He'd snuck in after not being allowed to research the dinosaurs, and was living in like the tree like Robinson Crusoe. So maybe that's the original idea.
Yeah, that was the very, very first one that, as far as I'm aware, when Joe joined the project, was like, yeah, you will be directing it. He was like...
Craig Rosenberg, you're right.
No. And then, yeah, Craig... Is it Rosenberg or Rosengrant?
Rosenberg, okay.
So that was like one of the... I think that probably was even... I don't know, but that might have only been like a treatment. That might have
You're so right. It does muddy it more, because in the book, the next page literally says Rosenberg's story followed 3 families. So... they hired him, and they're like, "Don't do that story. Do the family story instead."
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Is it saying that it's the same script that had all the mainland stuff as well, the subplot on the... Because there was 2 stories going on. There was the investigation on the island, and then there was the investigation on the mainland. And that's what JP3 was meant to be. They cut all of the mainland stuff, and in fact, in the I always forget the name. Stuck on Sauna, that podcast, they did a read through of one of the scripts, one of the JP3 scripts, but not the one with the mainland stuff. So you have the motorcycle chase in the lab on Sauna. Have you listened to that? Have you read that script?
No, this is all new to me. I
Yeah.
know a lot about the motorcycle stuff, obviously.
I know
but
more about how
know
the
anything about
ending
the
was
script.
supposed to be different and stuff like that. That's like as far as I went into it, and like a bit of what you guys have been saying here and now. Oh my god.
So this is that one. People, we should start doing video on podcasts.
Yeah,
I
we
think
probably should.
Like, yeah, we have Jack flipping through a book. We have me leaned over on my standing table reading a book, trying to engage in the podcast at the same time, trying to research. But yeah,
Literally.
so this is not saying anything about the mainland stuff at all. What they're saying is the original idea Spielberg came up with was Grant on the island living there researching dinosaurs, but then they hired Craig Rosenberg in summer '99 to write
Yeah.
the first draft, which was the families being marooned. After that, they're like, it's not working. Or Joe Johnston said it wasn't working. Too much teenage angst, one-liners and stuff like that. So they hired Peter Buckman to
Yes.
come revise that, but it's still focused on families on the look at there it is. It's still focused on families on the island with like Paul Robbie's that whole thing was part of this script.
Miles, is
Yeah.
that right? Yeah, or the other way around, whatever.
So yeah, that's
and it
not
wasn't
out
the
there.
wife. It wasn't like Amanda Kirby. It was like his. Wait, what was it? It was like the kid's stepmom or something.
Yeah, like relations have changed here and there. There was like an attaché in one of them.
Yeah, and like the dad had a really bad relationship with the son, and obviously they go through turmoil and survival on the island, and then they like, oh, I love you, like War of the Worlds. But that it does muddy it because where's the mainland plot?
So-
we know that unless that was just a lie the whole time, it wasn't because they've talked about it, right? They've definitely talked about the fact that JP3 was meant to be two plots, one on the island, one on the mainland, and it kept cutting back and forth, and then. Like partly the reason Joe Johnston cut it was he found it too confusing. Like it was too. I remember. Now I don't know where these quotes are from.
See, that's the problem with us.
Like,
We just
everything
remember
gets
them from like
muddy.
Dan's JP3. But the
Yeah,
thing
we
is,
need
you
an
keep
archivist.
you keep mentioning the fact that they're going to go back to an earlier script, or you keep alluding to an earlier idea,
No.
potentially, right?
I just think that if because Kep technically wasn't around then writing Jurassic Park 3, but I'm sure he was advising and I'm sure he was
100%.
like being asked stuff. I just imagine they went in the Amblin offices. David Kep, hello buddy, let's write a new Jurassic, let's do something. That's what I genuinely think that's what they were doing. I think they were doing it long before Dominion. I think they were working on this.
Well,
But then
yeah.
I think they must have gone through all those old scripts and
Well, we know
been like, where
if we're-
were we going to take the franchise 20 years ago? Why were we going to do that? Does it still apply? Like, can it still apply?
So, based off Daniel Richman's reporting and leaks, right? We know, or supposedly we know, that the movie focuses on 6 characters getting stuck on the island. This sounds very, very familiar to what I just read about Craig Rosenberg's
Yes.
draft, which
Yeah,
was the first
'cause it
draft of
was-
JP3.
In that draft, as far as I'm aware, it was 2 planes. They were rich people, right? So they have 2 planes.
Yeah,
The kids are on one and the
yeah.
parents on the other, and the kids' plane crashes.
So you know what that means to me. It's there's a lot of parallels to that story already, just on the surface level. So, but then to me, it's like, why would they do that again? Because that's just Jurassic Park 3 times 2. It's like Jurassic Park 3 with more people.
I guess they didn't. I mean, yeah, but they didn't do it. It's different, right? And maybe it's
It's
not
too
the
similar.
island. Maybe it's like maybe they crash into the Biosyn's thing. Maybe they crash into.
Aziz's face. Oh my
I just made I made a very flat face, the biggest grin I could, because like when Jack said back to Biosyn's thing, I was like, no, not doing that shit again. We're not
Yeah,
going back there. I'm not doing it. No, I'm not
That's-
going on that trip.
That's the thing. It's confusing me. Is it going to be world, or is it going to bypass some of that? I have a feeling that they're not going to like ignore Biosyn. They're not going to ignore anything that came before.
But it kind of feels like they're
Yes,
trying to get
I mean-
away for Dominion, though. Like
It does. That's the
Because-
thing. That's what I find so weird, and the fact it's being called Jurassic Park on all the casting calls now, and yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's just casting calls. They put what they think. It's been Jurassic World 4 for ages, and then all of a sudden they all started saying Park.
But it
Yeah,
does
because I was only
coincide with
this
something
week
we'll talk
the
about
other
later,
day.
though.
Yeah, I guess we can.
Maybe they're listening to us for information, and we're all like, yeah, let's go back to Park, and they're like, ooh.
Write that down.
So this brand
Did you get
synergy
that?
doesn't make sense to me because they've done Jurassic Park era. Correct me if I'm wrong. Has there ever been anything Jurassic Park era that was titled Jurassic World, something or something? You know what I mean? Like something set back in the day, but it was titled like Jurassic World, like Owen's Lego Adventure or something. You know what I mean?
Maybe one of the Lego games, because is the Lego games under Park or World? But
World.
yeah, okay, that's
But
probably
so
it.
the
I don't
thing
know.
is, like, why would you have a game coming out named Jurassic Park Survival that could easily have been called Jurassic World Survival, but just have it set in Jurassic Park's timeline, right? If you're trying to keep a brand synergy and not hop between Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, but if you are hopping between it anyways, if this movie truly is a Jurassic Park movie, there's no reason not to call it Jurassic Park. You know what I mean? Have it set after Jurassic World Dominion. I could see it being called Jurassic World 4, sure.
Can you imagine if they call it Jurassic Park 4?
I would cream my pants.
I would be
Yeah.
like, I feel like I would be trying to wake myself up.
This is it's a dream. It's not real.
20 fucking years on, they make the movie I wanted as a kid. Like my entire teenage life, my entire like childhood up, like JP3 up to the day I saw JP3 onwards until Jurassic World came out.
Yeah, 100% with you, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a bloody website for it. I don't know if any of you remember that, but
No, but I always used to like on YouTube as a kid, like you know how you like type in Super Saiyan 7 on YouTube and just like these weird edits. It'll just be like Jurassic Park 4 and it'll just be these like weird dinosaur mutations and shit. I'm like, this was like, oh my god.
Yeah, playing over Linkin Park.
Future!
Yeah, Linkin Park and
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
Linkin Park
And it would-
AVs and stuff like
Yeah.
you know, I think if you go through, if there was a way, there is a way, but if there was a way to like go through
Wayback Machine, baby.
all of my like search history for my entire life, I guarantee you one of the top hits is going to be JP4. Like, oh, I've searched that a million times in my life.
I still search it to this day.
Google News, right? Refresh. Like, spent my whole life waiting for this movie they never gave us.
It's coming, boys. It's coming. Don't worry. I have faith.
Right, let's
talk about Jurassic World 4 Park 4.
No, we've sidetracked survival. We were going to talk about that briefly. I think let's because I do want to talk about Jurassic World 4. I think we should focus on that. But very quickly, the Chaos Theory trailer came out. Let's get that shit out of the way. You saw it. You saw it. You saw the
We all
Chaos
saw
Theory
it.
trailer?
Come on, we all saw it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, cool. All right, let's move on. Nah, it looks good, right?
I'm
Actually,
excited.
yeah, it does.
I'm excited. I think it looks. I think it has more of a serious tone. I'm excited. I forget what like we talk about in the group chat and what like I see, and I just try to be quiet. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to get in trouble for like saying something, but yeah, no, I'm excited for it. It's gonna be cool. Paul Kenji, voice actor.
Yeah,
feel bad for him.
yeah. So
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
that is a really I mean, yeah, nature of the industry, nature of the voice acting industry as well. I think it's a beast. Really unfortunate for him though, but I think like standing by his decision. I think all power to him. You know.
Yeah, no,
Just
I agree with him. I feel like, especially like as us as creators and stuff like that, I think it's a very good leg to stand on and stuff like that. Not to take shit and not to get pushed over, and for him standing up for what he believes in and what he should be compensated. I think all power to him. You know, good luck to him in the future. Unfortunate it happened, but I think I support him in what he did. I think it's right on.
Yeah, it was a solid point. And I saw a lot of support among the community as well. I mean, it's hard to not be supportive of that kind of statement. But
Yeah,
you know what people are like. But that was that was weird. And then obviously Brooklyn, like, so that
Jenna
was
Ortega not
definitely,
coming back.
that was
Nope,
definitely
obviously.
General Ortega's voice, though, right, in the trailer.
I don't know her voice that well, honestly.
I mean, it just sounded like Brooklyn, right? I mean, they could have just grabbed. I mean, it could be somebody else. It just in the
voice
trailer
actors are
that
talented.
line. I was like, I could not tell you that was somebody else. Like, to me, that was General Ortega's voice. But then she's doing a voice for Brooklyn, so I guess anybody can do that. Really, I don't know. They could have recorded that ages ago, though. You know.
Oh, they
The
could
fact
just.
that
Darius,
her-
you said you'd be here. Like, the last thing she recorded.
I want to talk about that real quick because that's what sold me on this trailer. I've been going around asking people if I should go back and watch Camp Cretaceous over the past week, and they're like, no, don't do it. Just wait for this.
Everyone's like, no.
Yeah, got it. Cool. I'm just gonna wait. I'm
Yeah,
waiting.
The only reason why I'd say watch Camp Cretaceous is for the end of it.
I
That's
don't.
it. Because
You know what? I gotta go on the whole journey. If you read a book, you can't just skip to the final chapter.
Yeah.
You gotta read the whole damn
But
thing.
like that's the only thing because you get more context of like that part with Brooklyn and stuff like that. That's the only thing.
True. And to be fair, I can recall in the review that we did for season 5, maybe, that literally the only good part was the characters. Like, they
And the
all
ending.
had quite a nice little journey in it, and I think seeing Brooklyn and Kenji work out was really nice.
Spoilers,
nice,
Jesus.
It was just it was such a long time coming, and then it was.
Oh,
like,
so did they do work out at the end of it?
I think they end the show being together. I think.
Yeah, I would assume.
So the fact that
Spoilers.
Camp Cretaceous is marketing the show in the way that Brooklyn is allegedly dead
Yeah, so
already
that's what
shows
got
me.
me in the trailer when it was like Darius who said you be
Yeah.
she got chased, like she's not gonna
Yeah.
die, but then it's like whoever killed Brooklyn, I was like, whoa. Okay.
So yeah, that's what sold me on this show already. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
so just that much level of maturity, that step up. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm in now. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's rock and roll.
They did it with Ben. They did it with Ben. Remember?
Yeah, they killed him off.
Yeah, that doesn't
And,
count.
yeah.
Like the fact that like they just explicitly said, "Oh yeah, Brooklyn's dead." Like they said it.
True,
Brooklyn's
true.
dead. She got eaten. She's dead, murdered.
True, but you know what I mean. It was a whole season between season 1 and 2 where you're like, yeah, Ben's dead.
Yeah, but it's like they did it in such a way where it's like, yeah. But they're like,
True, we didn't. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
that
they're
is-
like, so.
But
You're
I,
right, saying-
I remember when I first saw that Ben scene, I was like, shit, they went that far? I was like,
I was hoping.
okay. And then, yeah, when
that
it came
was,
out, I
it
was
did
like,
set
okay.
the show up well. I remember.
Yeah,
Everybody came away going like, oh, okay, yeah, this show isn't gonna shy away from that kind of stuff. But,
yeah.
Ben turned out to be one of
Austin's way.
the better characters of the show. If I'm being honest,
Yeah,
I
no,
like
Ben-
Ben.
it feels
By
like-
the time I stopped watching, yeah.
It feels like Camp Cretaceous would have been much better off being maybe only 3 seasons. Like if they,
Oh.
they were like,
yeah.
no, I know, but
Yeah, no kidding, buddy.
yeah.
no, but you know what I mean. Not being told like you're getting 4 and 5, like literally you've got 3 seasons, do the whole story in 3. I think they would have been able to tell such a better story because it did feel like just dragging it out at the end there to be like, oh, we've got to come, like, oh, where are they? They got to get to another island. Like it just is silly, isn't it? It just
Yeah.
didn't need to happen.
I mean, the
Chaos
island,
Theory feels like they've completely like got it back on track, and
Yeah.
it really feels like this is what the show should have done in season 4.
Hell
Like, it
yeah,
should have
dude.
gone off the island should have skipped ahead. Fallen Kingdom season. Imagine if season 4 was just like this. That would have been.
Dude, we're seeing dinosaurs in like real world situations like we should have seen in Dominion. You know what I mean? Like this is giving me that little, it's scratching that itch I've been wanting to see dinosaurs like mess around in a construction site and have characters run around like a crane and then dive through pylons and shit. Like that's the stuff I want to see. It's relatable. You know what I mean? We've all seen a construction site. How many of us have been to Malta? You know what I mean? That's the difference. Seriously,
Yeah.
like that's what I wanted. I wanted to see a dinosaur in like a shopping center or
Yeah,
like
more
something
relatable, you know what I
to,
mean?
to me, not like
to an
oh,
everyday
we're gonna take these
person.
dinosaurs, we're gonna put them on another glorious, sexy island that you're probably never gonna go to. You know what I mean? Like, oh, cool, that's relatable.
But then it goes back to the whole like the first world movie because it didn't like most of us we were excited for. Oh my god, can you imagine when the raptors get out and they're running in the hotels?
That's the one who always goes.
And we never got that, and that's for me. Like I was like, that dude, you have this whole resort. You built Jurassic Park. You did it. It's in operation. It's gonna go wrong. It has to for the movie. But big hybrid bombing around. No, raptors killing everyone. Slaughterfest. That would have been sick. Nowhere safe. Like the cleaner walking down the hotel at 3 a.m. Oh, just gonna do the bins, and then turns
We're just gonna do the bins while
What is that?
dinosaur outbreaks happening.
raptor bolts down the corridor, and it's like, oh man, come on! It could
So
have been.
this is why Dominion. No, sorry. This is why Camp Cretaceous, or what's it called? What?
Chaos
Chaos
Theory.
Theory.
Yeah,
God damn, too many names. This is why it's so cool because you're seeing in like the next little bit of the trailer, you see like Sammy and she's in her house, and what does the raptor do? Bust through that little swinging door. I'm like, this is what we needed to see originally. Dinosaurs in people's houses. Like they did that with a little bit with the Velociraptor and Claire in the condo. Good, right? It's the right idea, but
Yeah,
then
it
you
worked.
then
That
you're
actually-
fucking running on roofs. I'm like, no.
Yeah, Yeah, that was such a cool setup in Dominion for a scene, and I was actually quite like, oh shit.
Yeah, like the mum and kid hiding
In a
in the
tight
closet and
space
stuff
is
like
cool.
that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's the rooftop, and you're like, okay, yeah. And they could have done. I think they did the sheets where she's like running through washing, and it's like, man, they should have done that's the Texas Chainsaw running through the sheets, the big white
Yeah.
sheets. She gets stuck in them. Like, come on, it's so easy. It's right there. Anyway, but then you set up this amazing setup, and then you have this action sequence where she's running from raptors, and it just deflates because there's no. It's just a really deflating action sequence that just carries on. It's convenient. She's got the van,
Yeah, she falls in a truck.
jumps, falls in the truck, and then it's just like, oh, cool, what a great payoff. There is none. Like, it's not an action sequence. It's just a sequence of things that happen. It's really strange. It's just like even the basic things like an action sequence that Dominion focused itself on couldn't get it right. Just it's so
More
strange.
like Camp Cretaceous, although creators, they know how to hit for me. For like in season 3, for example, like was that the one where they had the poachers on the island?
No, that's season 2.
So season 2, then that's like they built up that
Rewatching.
like one hunter character. I was like, oh, this guy's a dick. He's a badass. And then like, oh, he's actually a good guy. Oh, they're actually gonna kill him. Oh, he sacrificed himself. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
okay. So they take stakes. They understand stakes better than the movies do. That tells me now that we're getting dinosaurs in the real world, there's gonna be stakes. There's gonna be like, oh, our characters might get hurt. People we like might get injured. You know what I mean? Like just a little bit more chances of that happening because it's also a cartoon. You can do more damage to a character than you can to like Scarlett Johansson or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think as well, they're really expanding the lore. So the Atrociraptors were only introduced in Dominion. It was the first time they've been seen. And it's like, wow, a whole new species of raptors, really cool. Has origins to Isla Sorna and the dinosaurs that we all love there. And then the movie's over. And I think the fact that Chaos Series, like, they're in it. And they're in it. We're going to learn about them before we see them in Dominion. I think that's such a cool... That's what people want in expanded universe stuff. Chaos Theory is the right thing to expand the atrocities. Maybe we should see Soyona Santos.
Yeah.
Sonia. I think it's Sonia. Yeah, Sonia.
Is it actually? Nobody is correct. Every single time I record a video, and that name comes up, I have to stop, Google it, and be like, "Am I saying this right?" Because it's spelled Soyona, and then I Google it, and everyone's like, "Yeah, Soyona." So I'm saying,
maybe I'm saying
Soyona.
I'm just saying.
Sonia?
I'm just saying Sonia.
Yeah,
I
maybe
thought
it's just a weird
Sonia-
spelling of
Sonia
Sonia.
Santos. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm pretty sure that's what they said in the Dominion, like Sonia, like Sonia.
I might just start calling her Miss Santos or something.
Yeah.
then.
Just call it. Oh yeah, that Santos girl. Yeah, her.
That's a good place to actually bring her story back. I know people were talking when Dominion originally came out, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna see her in the future movies." I'm like, no, please don't.
She's a good character.
In animation's a great place to explore her kind of
it's
thing.
like- this looks sort of like a villain wearing a white who controls raptors. It's like
Yeah, she's not movie material to hold her own movie. Even as a side character, she's like kind of whatever. But in animation, you can do a lot more. They can show
Yeah, I
why
think
she has a Raptors and make her a
you made a
badass.
great point. I think that's perfectly summed up, to be honest. Like, yeah, just that. I didn't know she was Australian. Actually, she's actually an Australian actor.
What's
So-
how do you say her name, Jaden? It's like Deichmann Lackman or something.
Oh, dude, I don't know. My missus was telling me, yeah, she was in Neighbours, and I was like, okay,
There's always that one person who knows like that obscure actor.
yeah, and I was like, I don't know her actual real name.
Neighbor.
Yeah.
Are we talking positively about the Jurassic World animation for once? Holy crap! Look at us.
Yeah, we were
Well-
like joking about Calceria, and we were like, yeah, it's really good, really solid. It's great.
yeah, it's actually pretty solid.
Well,
Looking forward to
even
it.
before the podcast, we're like, yeah, we'll just brush over it. We won't talk about it that much.
Yeah.
We don't really want to bring that here, and then we're just here. No, it's actually like all right.
But
Yeah.
it's
It
true. I
looks
think
good. We'll be honest with you. We're not gonna lie and like say like this is like something like the Lego stuff where it has no interest to me. Like no, like this looks good. It looks
And we were really
professional,
hyped
high
up
quality.
Chaos Theory for Camp Cretaceous as well, because
Yeah.
everybody really wanted something. Jurassic had never had expanded stuff, never had a TV series, so that was a first. We were really pumped for that. Season 1, season 3, really good. I'm really looking forward to that. I know that Scott Creamer, we interviewed him almost every season for the, after the season comes out and stuff, you get to talk to them, and just talking to him off camera and off like the interview and stuff, he knows Jurassic and he knows what the show should have been, I think. Which is, I think he's like Scott Creamer would be the guy that's like, who did season 3? It's like Scott Creamer, I would assume that.
Okay.
based on what he was like, where he'd want to go with it. So, and he's heavily involved. He's running the show on Chaos Theory. So I'm actually really pumped for that because, you know,
Do we know if it all releases at once or if it's going to
Yeah,
be
no,
a weekly thing?
That's all at
all
once.
10 eps.
Yeah.
Very nice. That's what I like to see. Good
So we
stuff.
can-
I
binge
actually
it.
think we should. I think streamers need to stop that now. I think we should go back. I think some shows should be weekly. Do you remember watching shows weekly, right?
I do, but I don't like it. I'll be honest with you. I just don't like
Yeah,
it.
No, but
I
you
don't
remember
mind
having
it.
to think about it for a week and being like a show like Lost and being like, what the fuck? And then you got a week where you have to think about it. And you
But I'm also very impulsive, and I want that shit in like 2 days, not 1 week. So I can think about it for 24 hours and like, okay, next episode, let's go, let's rock and roll. That's what I'm doing with Fallout. Have you ever seen the Fallout
Yeah.
show? That stuff is
Oh.
quality.
I only had it on in the background. Never played any of the games. Seen the big-eyed actress in the one where she's in the plane crash.
Ella Purnell. I don't know what she's
yeah.
in.
She's British. You found out. Didn't realize. She's
Whoa!
British. All the legends. All the legends.
I've never seen this actress before. I'm a fan now. She has a unique look too, like those
She's
big
done a lot
eyes
of
and
good
stuff.
big roles, like and voice acting roles as well. So she's
I
Really?
have a feeling she's gonna be huge because she's got, she's got a face that is like
It's
very
unique.
unique, right?
Yeah.
Those giant eyes, like that's so unique.
It's like Anya Taylor-Joy, how she has like a unique eye set.
Yeah,
Like it's like further apart, but
Yes.
it's not like weird. It's like strikingly beautiful, uniquely
Aziz
beautiful.
is in my head rent free. He's saying everything I want.
Yeah. They're so welcoming. I'm so jealous. I have like small eyes for my head. I'm like looking at them now in the monitor. It's like, God, my eyes are tiny
just
compared to my
like-
like fat head.
She's got eyes for all of us, man.
Yeah, she
I
has
feel
my
like I have
eyes.
No eyes down here.
Terrible.
But she doesn't have a nice mullet. There
Yeah,
we go.
well-
Well, you're the one with a mullet. Let's talk about some more casting. Let's talk about some Jurassic casting. Not much
Wait,
going
hold
on.
Let's million thoughts, but let's do survival. I think.
Yeah, we just
Alright,
covered the
we-
casting anyways. There's nothing going on. That's cool.
Yeah. So quickly,
It's gone quiet.
quickly to brush over Jurassic Park Survival. Tim Willett's the COO of Saber. So that's the game company that's doing Jurassic Park
What does
Survival.
COO stand for?
Chief
Creative.
Operating Officer?
Yeah,
Yeah, Chief
that sounds smart.
Operating Officer.
He was in London 2 weeks ago. Yeah, because
When they have a Saber office, they have Saber London.
yeah, he was
Okay.
in London 2 weeks ago, and he's based in Dallas, so he flew over there. And he posted on his story something to do in an office, but those dinosaurs. And let me get the photo up real quick to actually quote what it said on his Instagram story.
So for those who are
Um,
like, it could be anything. If you connect the dots and see where we are in the calendar and what's coming up, particularly the game showcases, Sony, Microsoft, and Jeff Keighley, they're doing their stuff early June. Now is the time they're planning. So you gotta say, maybe Saber London's working on the game, and he's like just gonna go check out the teaser trailer that they're gonna like present. They're getting the presentation ready or whatever.
Yeah,
I
so
can see
he
that.
posted on his Instagram story running with dinosaurs, and then he's walking past a wall with like raptors on the side and stuff like that in London.
Wait. Was it a still?
No, it was
shot.
it was a video. I just took a screenshot because I can't like.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god! He
So-
was everything.
so
I
it-
thought it was just.
No,
God
so
damn!
it was a video of him walking down, and like he was just like doing that with his phone. There was just like raptors and stuff like that. And yeah, just
Oh, I
running with
thought it was
dinosaurs.
just one still shot.
Oh no, it
So-
was just a video, but
Yeah,
it was
'cause
just the
the-
same thing. Like
Yeah, the screenshot you sent me then, it was Dilophosaurus that was it was like carved into the wood on the
yeah, it was like that weird wood pattern thing. Like it was
yeah,
really
the
weird.
double wood.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it creates the image of a Dilophosaurus.
yeah,
You said the whole wall was lined with dinosaurs.
yeah. Like there was just like wooden imprints or like
I didn't see that.
of
Interesting,
all
dude.
that
Okay,
stuff.
so it doesn't take that long to put up a wall,
Yeah.
wooden texture on a wall. But they've been working on this game for a fair
Yeah.
bit now. They've got permanent fixtures in their office, unless what you were seeing was a setup for an event.
maybe.
But it looked like a corridor in their office.
Yeah, it looked like an office setting.
They've been working on Jurassic long enough that they've got a whole wall in there with dinosaurs
Yeah,
carved into
because
it.
they know
because
that it's going to be one of their biggest IPs to come out.
Yeah.
So yeah, and next month in LA is the Summer Games Fest.
Yep.
So with the Summer Games Fest coming up in June, that's normally one of the biggest gaming events.
June
So
7th.
yeah, so that's where they probably will be announcing games and stuff like that. And normally around 2 months before the event, that's when most games are getting ready to get ready to announce stuff. We might get a gameplay trailer or something. I think it's we're clear to say that I think we'll be hearing something at Summer Games Fest for JP Survival.
I've
But
been feeling this
yeah,
way for a couple of weeks now. I felt like a crazy guy, like typing at the group chat, being my first like thought about it. I was like, you guys, I'm convinced. I'm convinced. I felt like I was crazy. And now as time comes, like now
yeah,
Jaden's on board and now there's pictures and stuff. Like, okay,
yeah. No, so
I think we're
I
lined
was
up
I
nicely.
was always a 2025 guy, but then
Me too.
I was always scared because we all know what's coming out in GTA is coming out in 2025. I think if you go up against that, it's kind of like a crazy mission because it's GTA. We already know it's going to be the biggest game to come out in 2025. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think it's good that they'll get their own spotlight if they do try to release it December. From what we've been hearing around with some European websites. What's the European game store called? GameStop, I think. I don't know.
GameStop, yeah, I think GameStop, yeah, we have. I think,
Um,
yeah,
yeah. So in Europe, their websites. I know we've covered it over other podcasts, but yeah, they had pre-order dates and stuff for December. In the Croatia GameStop website, and I think Romania. And I think Romania also had posters with the date on it as well, but no one's really seen it. It's just rumors. But we did see screenshots of the European um pre-order date and stuff like that. So yeah, I think we'll be hearing something pretty soon.
and Saber's not really a company to kind of put a teaser out years before a release. This is not like a the only one that comes to mind recently is like Mass Effect 4. That thing
Yeah.
was shown off 2 years ago, I think, like trailerized, like trailerized.
Trailer,
Jesus,
right?
yo, we trailerized that.
Trailerized. Don't. The studio are gonna hear that now.
Yeah, so Mass Effect 4 was shown off 2 years ago with the teaser trailer, but that game's still 3-4 years out from release. Saber's not that company to do that. So if they showed off a trailer that already had gameplay in alpha state, that means they've already had developed the game far enough along where they're polishing it at this point, just polishing features to get it to beta, and then polishing that to get it to gold. So it's in like the kind of how do you say, like what's that window, like the it's toward it's I don't know, close to the finish line kind of thing.
Yeah,
That's
we're
what I
kind
want
of
to see.
we're getting close to the end
The
game, pretty
home
much.
stretch.
Yeah,
Home
home stretch.
stretch. There it
There we
is. Thank
go.
you.
Yeah, no.
I can't believe I blanked on that. But yeah, it's in the home stretch now, and I think for sure story trailer in early June at the game showcase, and probably pre-orders up around then end of summer for like the bigger gameplay trailer, I think,
Yeah,
kind of thing. And then December 2024, I think, give you enough
yeah.
time to get hyped for the JW4 and the next summer, which is
So you think
perfect.
you think like late 2024?
Yeah,
Yeah, December.
I think me and Aziz are on that same page now.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't think they want
There's
to
too much
compete
smoke
with
now.
GTA, and just with the way it's going, and like we were saying before, I don't think Saber is that company to just tease something just for the sake of it. They'll tease something because something is coming up.
Yeah, it's
Well, to be
close.
fair though, they do have a fucking load of games that are like in development. Here's a trailer. Here's a photo. Here's a they've got a lot that. Well, I guess it's not. Maybe
But the
it's not a
difference,
lot.
Jack, is there's actual gameplay here versus the other trailers where they're just
Yes.
CGI or just concept trailers. This is like, here's the
Yeah, that's
gameplay.
very true. That's
Yeah,
very true.
the
And we've
gameplay is
talked
big, guys.
before.
It's a big deal. They
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
the
we've
game
talked
is built.
before about like how Universal won't want to let this one slip.
And you can wish
Especially
list it on Steam now as well.
you can now wish list.
Achievements
Yeah.
too. Achievements are out there, like hidden, but they're out there too, though.
It's-
So this game is
Yeah.
ready, guys.
Final
It's
stretch.
The game is
it's
there. There's
crowning.
like elements of the game. It's obviously not finished, and it's going to take them a while. Like it's
Yeah,
obviously
100%.
maybe it's like 90% playable right now. I don't know exactly how the development works, but all I'll say is that in the trailer, and I said this on the last pod, they put those shots in at the end because if it was just a CG trailer, everybody would be more negative. They show real gameplay to prove it's a real game, but that doesn't mean the game. I mean, the gameplay looked pretty good, right? In those selective shots, but that's all we saw. That could be very curated, specific. Like we need that level, we need that section of that level ready for the. You know what I mean? They could have rendered a couple shots out. we don't know the extent of the game, but based on everything that has, like, it's not leaks, I guess, but like the Xbox achievements, the size going on there, and like basically the wish list and stuff. It really is a test. Like, sounds like it's coming. It's close.
Yeah,
I mean, like, how can you not be excited? We got literally the game everyone's wanted. It's this is the
Yeah.
one. There's nothing else you can do.
Yeah. Even a lead character that everybody's just like, fuck yeah, I want this I want to play as her.
No one's
Yeah.
saying any weird shit about this game. People are like, "Oh, Alien Isolation with Jurassic Park, finally."
yeah.
Cool.
It just all seems right, and even I don't know. I like it. I like that she was wearing a yellow raincoat in the trailer,
Yeah.
right? Come on, man.
Yeah.
The whole trailer felt very, and this is the thing, right? So we haven't talked about this before. Before this game was announced,
Sorry,
those
I
are
love the
fancy
way he set up.
facts that are
He set up
very,
with his
very
chair.
legitimate.
we should get
Eric,
video. I
you
think it
should
would be funny if people could see this. But I think before the game was announced, before we knew about the game, somebody had told me that they were working on a Jurassic Park game, in fact, and they had said that it was supposed to be. So somebody was working on the cinematic trailer, but they didn't get the gig. But in the trailer, the sort of instruction was something to do with like the original dinosaurs. Well, the original dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, not the world ones, the park ones. That was coming from the studio or from whoever was trying to initiate this pitch trailer or this concept or the cinematic trailer, I think is the word I'm looking for. Anyway, it didn't end up happening, but we got a cinematic trailer, which was very Park. And yeah, the T-Rex is the world T-Rex. Yeah, some of the elements there are. But it's understandable. And also, it's not the final game, it's a trailer. So in this game's development, whoever's doing stuff behind the scenes, whoever's orchestrating it, they're very inclined to stick with that Park era. And even in everything in that trailer felt like we were back there. It didn't feel like we were going back and somebody had designed it. It didn't feel like Jurassic World, for example, where we go to the visitor center and you're like, wait, where are we? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually, you were on Jurassic Park in 1993. That's what it felt like. I think it's just great. It's something you were saying earlier, Assis, is like maybe this expanded universe, maybe the side projects are all going to focus more on that original thing, and maybe the world movies are going to continue. And the tone might shift, the tone might change, and they'll reference things, but maybe it will be like the world era is the movies, and maybe there'll be a TV show or something down the line that is inspired by Survivor or is trying to do a similar thing, Maybe that's what they're going to do, and that would be exciting. But you were saying before about release and that they wouldn't want to clash with GTA. But
I think it wouldn't really matter even if they did come out. I mean, people are not going to buy anything when GTA 6 is out because they're just going to be so obsessed. But like, there's such different games. The overlap is not really, it's not there.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think there's like the same. I mean, those are probably the only two games I give a shit about. But I don't think
honestly,
yeah.
I don't think most people are like, yeah, I'm GTA and I'm waiting for that Jurassic Park Open Survival. Like, I don't think many people are in that.
What a system seller!
It's a different audience, but GTA 6 is going to be delayed anyway. It's probably going to be 2026.
Yeah,
You reckon?
Yeah, I think so too.
they delay every game they've ever done.
Yeah, no,
Rockstar's been saying, even they come out recently and said they're like having some issues and like they're bringing people back into the office as well now. Like I think they might be running into some issues there.
Yeah, like we could go into that whole debate about working from home.
Oh, dude, my sister works from home. I'm so jealous.
Considering the leaks they've just had, a mega leaks.
Oh, good point.
Like legit leaks that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for working from home because it was Slack, right? I can understand the studio they're in the final push. They leaked to ruin the game, but it's GTA. It's going to be good. We need you in the office because we really got to lock that shit down. And all the employees are like, fuck off, we're not coming back. And I'm like, okay, I feel like some common sense is maybe required here. You know what I mean?
That's
Maybe
a good point that you bring up.
It's tough though, because what if they're like they were offered that job, being like it's a remote position, you can live in Denver and work working for a studio in LA.
That is all weird. From what I read, I know that some of the roles had been hired as remote jobs. In that instance,
that's tough.
To go to the office. But the whole like people that were working in the office,
getting called back
everybody
in.
started working from home. To then be like, I'm not coming back. It's like, bro, the game leaked. We've never had leaks before. Like the game leaked.
That's just I've never seen a gaming leak that big before.
Yeah.
Like the entire
That
fucking
was
game in
crazy.
like alpha was out. Like people were like walking around in the city. It was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy leap. But for somebody that's been waiting for GTA 6 for what feels like the same length I was waiting for Jurassic Park 4 back in the day, I was like, when those leaks came out, I was like, spent the whole morning just like, wow, what the hell? I was so excited. And it was funny as well watching all the comments being like, wow, it looks so shit. I was like,
That's the
Yep.
internet.
GTA 5 came out in my first
2013?
year of university.
2013, right?
Yeah.
I'm old. For those who don't know, I'm not in university anymore. I'm not.
Yeah.
I-
yeah, 10-year course, but that would be.
I've
I
done
was-
quite a few courses since, my friends.
I was 13,
Yeah.
14 when GTA 5 came out. And yes, I got it on release.
That's wild to me, dude. You're an adult
Should've been
now.
playing it.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's coming close to JP, like from JP3 to the Jurassic World. It's almost getting to that point where you
It kind of
waited that
is.
long.
It's 10 plus years now. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
you're getting to that point now. Like it really is that point.
I think what made GTA 5, the wait between GTA 5 and GTA 6 harder was that if you didn't like buy into GTA Online,
You're
if you didn't,
fucked.
bother with that, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But also the fact that they had like DLCs plan, like paid DLCs for GTA 5 plan, the same as they did Ballad of Gay Tony and Lost in the Dam for GTA 4, which was Ballad of Gay Tony was better than the original game. I loved that. It made the city even better. But anyway, they were going to do DLCs for GTA 5, big ones. Zombie, like imagine that map zombified. It was going to be they were going to do a zombie story.
Yeah, like Red Dead.
They were going to do one where like Trevor's a secret assassin agent or something. Like there was all these DLCs they were planning. There was an alien one, and they were building them, and then all of a sudden they just scrapped it all, just did everything online. And I think if we'd had 2 extra add-on games in between GTA 5 and 6, we wouldn't be that, like give us GTA 6 for like the past like 5 years on Rockstar's channels, on their Twitter, on everything. Every reply is always GTA.
GTA 6 is going to be the biggest game, I think,
Yeah.
ever. It has to be. GTA 5 is already like the biggest, highest grossing game ever.
Yeah,
Like
it's the biggest game ever.
Universal. Forget about the movies. Yeah, your movie makes what, $1.5 billion bucks? Cool. How much does a game make? How much does GTA 5 make?
Well, I
100
think that's
billion?
what they're starting to realize as well, especially like now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I know with like America and Canada, they're more switched on with the content creating and gaming space and stuff like that. But in Australia, it's very behind, very, very behind. They still look down at it like, oh, you guys are nerds. But yeah, no, it's really bad here. But yeah, with the whole gaming thing and stuff like that, it's good that now media are starting to look at gaming as a way of like, hey, we can do something really good here. Also make a shit ton of money, but give our fans that kind of service where there's extra law, all this other, I guess, outlets, is that the right word to use or whatever? And we get to make a shit ton of money still while give our fans what they want. And I think it's good that they're starting to realize that now, especially like in the media industry, they're realizing like oh yeah, streamers are like, let's get streamers to promote our movie and stuff like that. And so it's gonna be a really cool space.
Yeah, it does go to a conversation we were having earlier though about getting the right streamers at the event, not the
Yes.
you know.
There's no kick streamers.
If
Yeah,
Gaten is not there for any sort of Jurassic Park survival media event or something, Universal, you'll be hearing from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ubisoft are like, because on the side things that I do besides Jurassic Outpost, I'm a partnered
Wait,
Ubisoft
what?
creator. So I work.
The gamer.
So yeah, I work with Ubisoft and stuff like that. I go to like their events when they have like new games coming out, like their media events and stuff like
Cool,
that.
man.
And they're really cool. Like the last one I went to was Skull and Bones in February, and they full had like this pirate tavern thing, and they got like the team from Singapore to come down, do a mad speech, show some
Oh,
game
that's
stuff.
awesome.
So I really hope they do something like that. But yeah, like
I
that's-
doubt it,
that's
because
the-
as far as I
yeah.
understand, Ubisoft has always been, or very much since I was like a teenager too, they've always been very hands-on with the community, especially because I know my buddy Jay Hooft, he was invited to the Assassin's Creed Syndicate release thing, and he
Yeah.
did a bunch of media for that. So I'm like, if they're bringing like local Canadian like YouTubers and shit, that means they have a real pulse on the their audience, which is like Universal. Just look outside the window. you can see tons of podcasts now, tons of these fans that are like rabid fans tweeting daily about Jurassic Park. Get them involved. Like, who are you getting these random streamers who don't
Well-
even know Jurassic Park 3 is a movie? Jurassic Park, there's 6 Jurassic Parks. Oh my god, you know what I mean? Like, we don't want those guys.
Well, that's
Get
the
the
thing.
fans in the damn premiere for Jurassic World 4.
Even but it's a really good point what you bring up, because like even media outlets, like even Channel 7, the Channel 7 host didn't know there was 6 movies. He just knew about
There you
Jurassic
go.
Park, and I was like, wait, like what do you wait, like what, really? I was like, okay,
You're in the media.
yeah.
Friend.
I was like,
You
you're
are
in the media. You're like, you're interviewing about Jurassic World. How do you know? How do
like, "Oh, I don't have a TV."
yeah, he's like, I've only seen Jurassic Park, and I was like, bro, what? So yeah, like that's the thing, like just things like that, like it's crazy to me, but I have a little bit of hope with Universal when it comes to their finger on the pulse, because when I spoke to Universal at the exhibition, they knew Jurassic Outpost, and these were the team from America. They knew the Jurassic Outpost and what
Yeah,
we
well,
do,
then
and
they know people are annoying.
and they were just thanking us for what we do and stuff like that. And I was like, oh wow, like what the hell? And they were taking photos of my arm and stuff like that because of my Jurassic tattoos.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah, that was the first time where I'm like, okay, so the team from Universal, and shout out to them, like they were actually really nice and genuine and actually gave a shit about what we do. I think there's a higher level above them that don't let them do that.
I
You know what I
agree, because I haven't dealt with Universal to the same extent as like Jack, Chris, and you guys have. But the few times that I have dealt with Universal people, they've always been like dope people, like the nicest people, accommodating, funny, great, like essentially like, you know, bending over backwards for us.
They hire amazing people. It literally
Yeah,
is like
it's the suits.
everybody
Everyone's
I've
higher
come
than them.
across.
You're right.
We've sidetracked again, but there's one more
Yes.
thing. So survival's coming. That's exciting. There was one thing I want to talk about before we move on, but just you said about Summer Game Fest.
Yes.
What, is that you think there's going to be a trailer this? You think we're on the cusp of a trailer
Yes.
for Jurassic Park Survivor? That's what
Either at
I'm trying-
Games Fest, Sony, or Microsoft, one of the three.
Yeah.
I'm like 95% sure.
Because from June to August, pretty much, there's like a lot of gaming events. Summer Games Fest is the first one, and that's kind of like the new E3 now because it's massive and it's in LA.
What happened to E3?
E3? Oh, I don't know what happened to them. They're just done. I think, yeah, I don't really know the
Did
full
it just
story.
stop? E3
Yeah.
just stopped.
Yeah, because now
Why?
other like Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo start doing their own things, like their own shows and stuff like that. So they start pulling out of E3. So then now E3 lost their draw of like
No reason to
being-
go.
Yeah, no reason to
Well,
go.
now they're all buying into Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, so now Summer Games Fest, YouTube runs it. It's YouTube's event.
It's on YouTube. Yeah, Jeff Keighley
Yeah.
just puts on a show himself on YouTube, and like Sony and Microsoft still have their own shows next
Yeah.
week or whatever. Too not next week in June
Okay,
as
so
well.
it's different. It's like a different thing to E3. Same idea, just
Yeah.
it's not new audience, new generation.
Yeah, so
More
it's
games. It's like
more
literally
game, yeah.
game oriented.
I didn't know it was hosted on YouTube. That shows how much I know.
Yeah,
Um,
so I like
They have a lot of time to fill.
yeah. So
yeah.
and yeah, with that being 2 weeks ago of what Tim Willis posted, it makes so much sense that they're getting ready to announce something because it's 2 months in advance.
2 months out, and he's in London, and he's not based in London. I
No.
think that's a fact that's important. It's not just him taking a stroll in his office.
Yeah.
He visited the London office,
Yeah.
and he's the Sue. How would you say that? Coup.
The coup. The Sue.
Sue. Yeah. He's the co-o. So he's high. I mean, he's high up. So he's there for a reason. There was obviously something big. And to film, I don't think. Sure, he could have been there for something else, but filming down the corridor showing the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
on the
come
corridor-
on, guys, connect
Yeah.
the dots.
Yeah.
Not for us guys on the pod, but for some
Yeah.
of the listeners. If you're like, it could be anything, guys. It's not. You
Wake
showed a picture
up.
of a dinosaur.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
because around that's that same week that Tim posted that the Jurassic
What
World Evolution-
dinosaurs were there, man? I thought it was.
I think a
You said
raptor,
the
wasn't
whole
it?
wall. I thought it was just the dilo. I thought
No,
it was
no,
just-
those raptors, the Dilo, and that was it. Just raptors and just that. That was it. It was just like engraved in
Perfect.
like
That's
wooden.
all I want.
Oh yeah,
Raptors
it could
and
be
dinos.
anything, guys. It could be anything.
Yeah. Well, the week that he did post it was I think the day after Jurassic World Evolution released another DLC or something like that, or did an announcement, but he had nothing to do with it. It was nothing. that's why a lot of people were like starting to think, oh, I was like, why would
Why would he
Saber
post that?
be with Frontier? Like, it's two different companies. Like, it just
Well,
didn't make sense. I mean, it could make sense, but to me, why would he fly from Dallas to
yeah,
London,
yeah.
emphasize dinosaurs when he
Yeah,
doesn't really?
the chief operating officer is going to
Yeah,
go to Frontier.
And
Frontier.
Frontier's not in London as well.
Yeah,
Like we were saying.
exactly. Yeah, like he had the London tag like on his Instagram
He
story
was
as well.
in.
Yeah,
He was actually in the
London.
heart, and I do believe that Saber's office. I couldn't. I was. They have Saber London, but it's hard to find. There's not like a website for it, kind of thing. They
Yeah.
have all these different offices, but they don't have. So it's hard to know if it was that active. But I'm assuming that was their most. It's one of their main branches, I would assume.
I think it is because especially when they did their when they closed a few of their studios down, London was their main one now because they had they shut down the one in Russia.
Russia's close to
And
England.
yeah, and now the England one is kind of like their main one, I guess, and then the one in America as well. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think they've got They've got smaller studios plopped all over the place, but they're
Yeah, in
not
Europe and
necessarily
stuff.
named Saber. They own
No.
a bunch of like smaller dev studios that probably.
Yeah, like in Germany and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
I had a stalk when I sent everything to Jack and then the group chat with Tim Willits. I was like, all right, time to get investigating.
Yeah.
Went through like his Instagram stories and stuff like that and all of his posts. And yeah, he goes to Europe a lot, like in the past like few years. Not in the last year, but this year now. That was his like, I think that was like one of his first times in Europe for a bit. So
Right.
there is that
Yeah.
as well.
Interesting. Yeah, we're on the cusp, man. It's about time as well. I mean, it was only December they released, but it is May now. It's been 5 months
Since the trailer.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then-
since the first trailer, since the announcement. We haven't had anything since. No screens, nothing. No logo. No, I mean, there is a logo already, but you know what I mean. No, like, boom. Here's the image. Here's the front image.
I will say, I was checking out what Saber Interactive's next big releases. It was Warhammer 40,000
Yeah.
Space Marine 2. Comes out September 9th of this year. But important, I was looking at how they were marketing this game, if you will. Guess what? Very similar marketing to what we are suggesting here with Jurassic Park Survival.
Hit me.
Trailer. First reveal was at Games Awards, similar to Jurassic Park Survival, but it was in 2021. The game also was originally set for a release a year before. It got pushed to this year. So that's
Okay.
important.
COVID and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
So you gotta keep that
So
in
the
mind.
next time they showed the game off was the following Game Awards. So we're back at Game Awards of 2022. The next time they showed off the game, June 2023, Summer Games Fest 2023.
Yeah, yeah. It's happening.
Is there 2 Games Fests a year? Is there a Winter Games Fest?
A Game Award show, which is Jeff Keighley run. It's in December, which is where we got our
Oh,
first look at
yeah.
Jurassic Park Survival, right? And then obviously
Right.
Keighley's next big show, the big one is like Summer Games Fest, which is,
So they do Summer Game Fest and they do the award show,
Yeah.
which isn't.
and we know for a fact Saber is already with. They've already done Summer Games Fest stuff. I feel like that scene with like Charlie Days pointing at all like the crazy shit on the board.
Yeah.
I'm like, my arms are flailing everywhere. I'm like looking at 2 screens right now.
Pepe Sylvia, man.
This is crazy, but I'm very excited that we have so much Jurassic on the horizon that we
Oh.
really don't know a lot about. In the
Yeah, but
past,
it feels like the
we knew a
right
lot.
Jurassic.
Yes, it does.
It feels like, I mean, we're literally going back to 93, a day after the disaster on the island. Something we've all wanted to do since the very first movie. None of the sequels have ever taken us back there properly. And this is doing that.
Did Universal have like a higher up change recently where they're like, someone came into content directing and they're like, we're missing a bunch of like games for, or like our IPs are not being utilized to their fullest. Let's get on that. It
Well-
just seems like they're doing that now.
Well, that's
which
what I mean.
appreciate.
When I spoke to Universal at the exhibition for the media red carpet event, they did seem more switched on to content creators and they want to work more with YouTubers, like Jurassic YouTubers and stuff like that. They were more switched on and they did understand the space. So maybe there is a change and we're slowly seeing it happen because what they're doing is kind of like, it's looking good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's something good. And it's something that we need, and hopefully they are getting more switched on and waking up to the fact that this is the new way to promote shit: is use creators, use fans, use the community that you've built to now promote your shit.
The issue's always been not that they necessarily wouldn't use the fandom or like use certain people in the fandom, but more that they would actively try to discourage the engagement.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, just give them a heads up. That's all. Like, just give the fans like something tiny.
Yeah.
It's like when Colin would interact with people.
Colin
like,
was really good
felt
for that.
Great. I think there's obviously been a shift at the studio there. From what you're seeing, maybe the shift kind of coincided with when they rebranded all their like departments. You know, like Parks and Resorts is now Parks and Experiences or something. Like they've changed all the.
That does make sense.
Maybe that coincided with a massive like.
Maybe you got the right
shift.
people behind. Like Donna Langley's always been like a good person for CEO. I mean, a good person for Universal, but she's never made like decisions where I'm like, oh yeah, this is Universal's like my favorite production company. I love Universal. You know what I mean? Like for some reason, when I was younger, I'm like, Universal's my favorite thing ever. And when I went to Universal Studios as a kid, I was like, oh my god, I'm in like the best. Like they make Jurassic Park, they make everything I used to love as a kid. You know what I mean? So I was thinking
it's always the
Universal
best
was
studio
special.
because it's the one we always saw them.
And you know what? It always kind of feels like the other one because you have like the Disney, you have like the Fox and like Sony, and then Universal always kind of felt like the left behind one, even though they're a fucking mega corporation. But you know what I mean? Like I don't know why. It's because they made Jurassic Park, probably. I love that logo. I love that logo.
Yeah, I love the one before they changed it. I love the one we grew up with and the one
Yeah.
before that. So the JP one, the Lost World one, and then the new one. I'm not so much.
It's still Universal. It's classic.
Still Universal, yeah. One of the things I can't say if I don't know the past 5 years or so. I don't know if it's any different now. But you know when Me Too first really hit,
Yeah.
and then like all the big studios were like, "Oh, he's gone. Yeah, it was a Me Too thing." Like, oh, all this stuff came out. Loads of people lost their jobs, and there was like every studio had a something. Except Universal. There was no exec. There was no one at Universal that had been like. There's no like Harvey Weinstein.
The Jurassic Park franchise is kind of like, aside from like one or two things here and there, it's kind of like untouched. There's no like main actor that's like a piece of shit. There's no like, oh, the writer director is like, he did this. You know what I mean? Like none of that weird stuff behind the scenes.
Russell,
it's like you can put on Jurassic Park and I feel clean. I don't feel like guilty about it. If that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
There isn't an actor or anyone that's tainted. Obviously, Cameron Thor.
That's the one I was thinking of.
I mean, he's a cameo, and it's a very small part of the movie.
Like 2 seconds, he's in the movie.
Yeah, if he was a lead, it'd be different. That's why it's like movies like American Beauty and stuff.
That's
brilliant movie. Like, there's only so much that you can separate art from the artist when the movie is literally about him getting horny over the 16-year-old girl. Okay, maybe that one can't be watched again. That's tough.
Yeah, I'm with you with that. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not like trying to get Universal to pay me or something here, but I'm just saying like Universal always has like a special place to me. Whenever I see that logo, I'm like, yeah, feels like home.
That feels like cinema to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, man. Yeah, people are like the WBs, the 20th Century Fox, like the classic logos. I'm like, no, man. Universal is the classic logo for me. I love that.
Silence in space, and you see the text coming over, and it's like
it's just the best. It's like cinema. You're right. It's like when I think of movies, I'm like closing my eyes and I see that Universal logo, and then whatever wants to come next. It doesn't matter. But if it's Universal, I'm like, I'm there.
Usually followed by the Amblin logo in our case. But
ooh,
yeah.
We need an Amblin Park.
Can you imagine how cool that would be? They've got such a huge collection of movies as well.
Yeah.
Like Amblin movies you can make. Oh, we will talk about this. In fact, actually, no, I'll just save this for later. Before we wrap this up, there's a handful of things we didn't talk about.
It's a lot of stuff. You went to LA. First of all, hang on a second. No, everyone pause. Jack went to Los Angeles with our other Jurassic Outpost member, Ryan Shoes. And
correct.
They were there
to sign a 3-picture deal with Universal. Well, actually with Amblin.
Talk about it a little bit. Let us hear.
Well,
how many figures? How many figures are you making?
Basically, once Gareth's gone, it's me. I said my movies are going to be pure horror, and I said they're going to be B-movie horror too. I said they're going to be awful. I'm going to make bad horrors.
Written by John Sayles.
I'm going to sink my career as it begins. And they were like, okay, yeah, that aligns with the strategy we have. We went from there. No, we were in LA. It was such a last minute thing. There was supposed to be an event. The event didn't end up happening. Still went to LA. Can't get you buy the cheapest ticket. You can't refund the cheapest ticket. I mean, come on, man. You know, don't even have a bag.
You went bagless?
I went bagless.
You know what? To be honest,
Yeah,
I would have been like,
I had-
yeah, I would have been backpack. If I was planning on coming to this, but I couldn't because of some work commitments. I was like, if I go to this, I'm just gonna bring my backpack and like a change of undies and like an extra jean. Like that's it.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
glad you guys went though.
I was thinking about going as well, to be honest.
Flying
Yeah.
across the Pacific. No, it was such a last minute thing, and we will. I think for people that care to listen to this kind of thing, like we Caleb and Ryan will come on another podcast that probably the next episode we'll do it with Jaden as well, and we'll talk about both the Australia event.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
The LA event, because and maybe it would have worked on this podcast because we went to the JP3 locations. We went to Ellie's house, man. Although,
yeah, that was okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say this. So I'm in the gym, minding my own business in the Iron Throne, right? I get this message from Jack. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just look at this message real quick in between sets. So I check the message. It's a picture of a house. He's like, recognize this house? I'm like looking at it, like, what the fuck? Whose house
I'm
is
being
this?
all like coy. I'm like, recognize this house, bro. Like, what?
He was trying to show me Ellie's house. I'm like, dude, I don't know what this is. He's like, oh shit, sorry, dude, wrong house. I'm like, oh my god, bro. I'm spending like a minute trying to figure out what this house is. Like, is it like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? I don't know. What is it?
It turns out I think it's actually in Four Christmases. I could be wrong, but I think the house that I sent you a picture of is in Four Christmases.
Vince Vaughn.
Technically, yeah, there's some like Nick Van Owen thing going on there. But no, we went to the neighborhood. Caleb took us to the neighborhood where they filmed Ellie's house, and we parked outside of a house because it's one of those very wealthy neighborhoods where you don't want to like stand out. You don't just like park, get out, start taking pictures, right? It's creepy. So we parked outside this house, knowing knowing in our heads which one was Ellie. We parked outside one of the houses and we were like, okay, let's walk down the street, then come back up the street on the other side because that will be Ellie's house. And we did all that and we sent the pictures and we were driving off. And then as we were driving off, I think Corey was like, that's not Ellie's house. And we were like, whoa, yes it is. Yes. He's like, no, that's Four Christmases or something. And then Caleb sent him the GPS and they were like, no, guys, it was behind you. we had parked outside Ellie's house and left, walked away from Ellie's house. Went, right, let's go find our house. Fucking idiots, man.
It's okay. I'll allow it because you're a new convert to the Jurassic Park 3 family. It's okay. It'll come with time.
I'll be honest with you. When we were there, so Caleb had found the address. It was on like a location. This is where they filmed Ellie's house. It was the address for the house that was wrong. So when we were looking, we were like, it's the same color. Like it's blue. My memory of Ellie's house in that movie was that it was blue. It's probably not.
Is it not blue?
I don't know. I think it was blue.
Right now.
All I remember is like the inside. Realistically,
pull up a movie. But so when we were like, look at that big blue house. It's that one. That's the address. Of course, it's that one. I wish we just. I don't know. I think we were just trying to be so respectful of the neighborhood. We weren't pulling our phones out, being let's experience the moment and not.
Yeah, it's like a teal color.
I'm literally watching the movie right now on my MacBook while the. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's the house. I'm like, Jack, the house that you sent me looks nothing like this. It's so perfect.
Yeah, I know. And you know what sucks, man?
Dude, it's such a nice house. Oh my god!
I took about 6 shots of Ellie's house on film, right? On nice film. And it wasn't even Ellie's house. What a waste! I have these.
It's still the Four Christmases house, bro. You're good.
True. That is a good film, Four Christmases.
I love that movie.
It's posted on Christmas. There you go. It's a good Christmas story.
Whose house is it in Four Christmases?
That I can't tell you. Probably. Is it not Jon Favreau's? Because he has a big family, right?
Yeah, it looks like. Oh yeah, Jon Favreau plays like the
one of the brothers,
the, like beefy brother who's like a.
Dude, I love Christmas movies. I love them.
Me too.
Jurassic Park is my favorite Christmas movie. Jurassic World is my favorite Christmas movie. I don't like that.
Jurassic World is technically
when they were marketing the movie, it's like, oh, Indominus Rex coming in. It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It's summer. It's a movie set in summer, but it's set at Christmas.
Yeah,
it's a very
yeah.
In the comments,
weird.
I think we were on that street. I think we just you know, like I said, we're trying to be respectful, so no one really pulled their phone out too much. I think we were just trying to do it quick without looking like tourists, because it's not a tourism spot. It's a house. And then
Without
we
looking
were all like,
sus.
I guess that was Eddie's house. I was trying to work. I remember saying to Caleb, like, where does he drive out? Where's the driveway? Because it's not.
Yeah, because there's like a. No, he doesn't drive out of the driveway. He's on the side of the road when he
Yeah.
gets in his car.
I was like
Yeah.
trying to work out where does he reverse from, and we were looking at this house.
Yeah.
It's 20 plus. Like, I guess they've done work. I guess it's different. They've probably redone the lawn a handful of times.
I don't know.
Right.
Next time you guys are there, you need to get a JP3 expert on
It's
the
been like
ground
20
with you. I
20
think that'll
years.
be the real.
We
changer.
messed up. That's the thing. We messed up.
Yeah, in your backpacks, you just need
Yeah,
to
just
have some
recreate
like
the
Hammond
scenes.
collection figures and go into the backyard and go.
dinosaur.
"Ah!"
We did a couple. We'll talk about this. We'll save it for a pod. But we did a couple other locations. We did Lost World locations.
Full
We found
pilgrimage.
the house where the T-Rex goes in the backyard, drinks from the pool.
Did you also drink in the pool?
We had a swig. Yep.
Yep.
That didn't go down well. We did a couple of other locations. We went to the 76 gas station where the T-Rex in Lost World.
Oh,
and
dude.
Chevron's still there too.
You guys also, more importantly than anything else, you went on the Jurassic World ride for the first time. What are your thoughts on
Oh
that?
shit!
Because you and I went on the ride together at Universal for the first time, right? Like your first time.
Yeah. First time on the park ride at
Yeah.
Universal.
So how's the
James
World ride
Bond
compared to the park?
Yeah, so when they changed the World ride and I saw pictures and videos, I was pretty disappointed. You know, riding it for the first time, fuck, that was fun.
Okay,
was
good.
really-
I like to hear that.
And I'd forgotten about the drop. It's not that bad. It's just
It's
every single time I'm expecting to come out of my chair a little bit and have that feeling of weightlessness, but I don't expect it that much. I always feel like, well, I didn't think it was that much. You know what I mean? I think they've added stuff since they first opened it too. Like added some blood and gore and like cuts in
Nice.
the walls. I think those rides will always suffer from the animatronics feeling
Yes.
like they are so dated. It doesn't feel like 20 years on from the rides, the animatronics might be more like they are in the movie. The design is great. I'm just more like they move jittery and they're super slow, and I understand it has
Glitchy.
to be very safe and the way it moves has to be very secure. But
Sorry, do the Raptors not pop out when they're ascending anymore?
yeah, the Raptors pop out.
Oh,
when they're
thank
ascending.
God. Oh,
I think
Jesus.
they're holding the wires.
Yeah, like that's such a clutch part of the thing. I hope they don't they need to update some of the earlier dinosaurs. The later stuff is great, right? Like the Indominus looks good, no? The blue looks good too.
No, that's what I mean. It looks good, and the design is really good, and it's the one from the movie, but its movement is so slow.
Really?
and,
I thought the movement on the two new guys were like pretty
they don't
decent.
mask. I feel like they aren't. The room isn't as dark as maybe they assume it is, but you can see all of the mechanics, and the T-Rex that swings down is really cool, but they still have its legs on.
Oh, it's always been like that though.
Has it always been that
Yeah.
way? The same one, okay. Well, I was just like, get rid of the legs, maybe. You know, like it doesn't look right.
I need to
Uh,
ride this. I need
yeah.
to experience this soon.
I understand the animatronic thing isn't exclusive to the world.
Yeah, no kidding,
part of
Jaden.
it.
You have to get
Me
over
too.
here. Jack, which is the one you almost threw up on this time?
Yeah, I was nearly sick on the mummy.
Oh, it was the Mummy, it wasn't the Simpsons. Well, no, Jaden, to be fair, I did throw up when I was with these boys.
The way he
after,
just
like,
looks
I think it
down.
was the Simpsons. I threw up after the Simpsons.
The Simpsons sucked.
I love the
We-
Simpsons ride. That ride's hype.
Oh,
I
I
have the
didn't
shirt
like
over there. I love it.
I was surprised I didn't
Wow.
get sick. Yeah, you were sick. You were next to those kids, eh?
Oh yeah, maybe. There it is. Kids make people
Okay.
sick.
The Harry Potter ride was fine this time. I think I felt sick on it the first time we rode it in 2018. But this time was solid. But the Mummy ride, I rode it early with Caleb, and I think my brain just wasn't ready. I haven't been on a roller coaster in 5+ years. I don't think my brain was ready to get shaken around like
It's
that. The
that
Mummy was probably the
COVID rust.
second.
Post-COVID rust, baby. We're all gonna have a little post-COVID rust.
Just wasn't ready to get rattled like that. And the Mummy really rattles you. It like throws you forward at full speed, stops, and then slams you back in the other direction. My brain was like, Jack, I don't know what's happening here, man. But it's not working. That was tough. I wasn't sick though. I was just. I remember when the ride stopped, we like pulled up, and you have to queue now in your thing to wait for it to be there so you can open the doors. So I just like sat there and I started sweating, looking over. At
Dude, you
Caleb,
know
and
we
he
were
was like,
sick.
Oh, dude! It was like, dude, are you okay?
Universal will do that to you, Jaden. So it's dangerous there. Someone's gonna get sick. It's bound to happen. I guess so.
Not-
I guess so.
Not
For
on Jurassic
real?
though, because that one
Wow.
Jurassic is a very peaceful ride. Actually, it's pretty cool. It's only at the end that it gets like fast.
But to be honest, I forget the last time I go into a theme park though. So yeah, now I'm freaking out. I'm like, I've never been sick on a roller coaster or anything
It'll happen
like
to the
that. But
best
now
of
that
us,
I am
trust me.
older, I'm like, holy shit.
Caleb said he once got stuck on the Harry Potter ride, basically upside down. You know, on the Harry Potter ride where you're in those things, and then like sometimes it flies you up, and you're facing the spider, and then it flies you another direction. He said it stopped, and he was upside down.
Okay, I buy
And
that.
they said they were waiting for like 5 minutes.
Okay,
like,
that's fucked. That's fucked up.
I'm fucking out.
Luckily, you won't die or anything. You won't have a headache.
Yeah,
Can you imagine being stuck upside down for more than 5 minutes? I'd want my
I
money
couldn't.
back. I want a lifetime I'd want to live in Universal Studios.
Yeah, I get a free night at the park. That's the deal. I got stuck on a ride. I get a free night at the park.
I got stuck upside down on a ride for 10 minutes. Can you imagine? I got stuck on the Jurassic Park ride right before the drop once when I was 2008, my first time being there. I rode the ride like 8 times in a row, and at one point I got stuck at the top. It was fantastic. Just
Did you
living.
what, like? Were you?
No, we weren't like before. You know how you have to crest that little hump before you go all the way down? It was before that little crest, so it wasn't like we're not like tilting on the edge or anything. It was like before
teetering
the
on the edge kind of thing. Yeah, no, that's cool. Okay, we'll talk about that. Listen, we should wrap this up, but we didn't talk about David Leitch. We didn't talk
Next
about
episode.
casting, really. We didn't talk about cinematographer. I got so much to say about that, but we'll have to save that for another episode, I think. This started as a JP3 podcast, just turned into what? Survival, Universal.
We're just
Parks.
catching up. We're just a bunch of boys being boys after work, or in Jason's
Guys
case, before
being
work.
dudes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's having his breakfast with
Or
us.
waking up. Yeah, pretty much. But I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about the different events from Australia and in LA. It's gonna be freaking like
Yeah, well,
crazy because
yeah,
we
just
did do that on
Irish
the same weekend.
photos back and forth.
It was the
Oh,
same
wait, we'll get
weekend,
Ryan
like,
on this pod too. This will be
and I
a,
was like,
this will be a
what the
you
hell?
guys
Yeah.
pod. I look forward to hearing this one.
All right, let's save that for the next one. And I think, we'll save the Jurassic World 4 chat for another time then. There might even be some new casting announcements by then. Actually, because this is probably going to be irrelevant, I do want to bring this up. This is probably going to be irrelevant by the time the next episode comes. So,
Jack, are you able to share anything that you learned?
I didn't actually know
Okay.
while I was in LA.
Roger
No, I
that.
can't share any of that. However, we can talk about Joe. But I just wanted to ask, 2 weeks ago on the In General YouTube channel, I posted a poll. That's what you call them now, right? Polls? They're still called polls, right? Yeah, okay. Out of all the names
Yeah.
currently rumored to be eyed for a role in Jurassic World 4, who are you most excited for? Comment your own suggestions for the cast. We'll discuss on the next pod. We didn't discuss, so I'm going to discuss it now, right? Jonathan Bailey, Dev Patel, Coleman Domingo, and Nicholas Hoult were the sort of rumored names at the time. No idea on the legitimacy of any of those, but it probably sounds like, I think we might have heard by now. Who knows? And one of the other answers they could have put was just show the results. None of the above, or William H. Macy was like one of the options, right? So 32 votes, 47% Dev Patel, Coleman Domingo 13, Jonathan Bailey 13. Jonathan Bailey turns out probably is in the movie now, I think. Nicholas Hoult got 0%. Nobody wants him, and 28% wanted to just see the results, or none of the above, or they wanted Paul Kirby to return. It could have been any of those three. So interesting results. Thank you for voting on that pod. Check out the In General podcast channel community tab, because we'll be posting some interactive stuff on there to get you involved with the podcast. But I think it's time to wrap this one up. We have not talked about half the stuff we wanted to. Let's talk about Jurassic World 4 next time. I really want to dive into the Gladiator cinematographer, and I really want to examine the quotes from Mr. Leitch, because that's hilarious. And hopefully next time we'll have some information as well on the real casting, which will be fun. But I don't know where I'm going with this. So Jaden, Assis, great talking with you boys today.
Thank you for listening.
Watch Jurassic Park 3.
Every day, JP3. But seriously, guys, thanks for
Yes.
listening. For everybody that is listening to the In General podcast, thank you for listening to this episode. Let us know in the comments what you want us to discuss in the next one. And
Jack, you're having a tough go at this, eh?
It's tough.
Subscribe.